You're digging through your loose change, maybe searching for vending machine money or just clearing out the junk drawer, and bam, there it is, a humble, ordinary-looking penny. But what if I told you that penny could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million? Yep, you heard me right. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1988 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. So stick around because by the end of this video, you might be ready to raid your piggy bank like it's a pirate's chest. First things first, let's talk about what makes the 1988 no-mint mark penny so special. On the surface, it looks like your run-of-the-mill penny. It's got Honest Abe's iconic profile on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and it's a standard copper-plated zinc penny. But here's the twist. This coin was minted without the tiny little mint mark under the date. No D for Denver, no S for San Francisco, nothing. And in the coin world, this kind of mistake is like finding a golden ticket to Willy Wonka's factory. Why is the missing mint mark such a big deal? Well, it's all about rarity. Coins without mint marks usually come from the Philadelphia Mint, but in 1988, every Lincoln penny was supposed to have a mint mark. This error slipped through quality control, creating one of the rarest modern coins ever. It's like finding a unicorn in a field of horses, or a $20 bill in your laundry. Now, let's talk value. How does a penny, literally 1 cent, skyrocket to $1.7 million? The answer lies in the collector's market. Serious coin collectors are willing to shell out serious cash for rare finds, especially coins with historical quirks like this one. In 2023, one of these elusive pennies went up for auction, and after a bidding war that would make a Hollywood blockbuster look tame, it sold for $1.7 million. That's enough to buy a mansion, a luxury car, or approximately 170 million other pennies. But don't get too excited just yet. Finding one of these pennies isn't as easy as flipping over your couch cushions. Out of billions of pennies minted in 1988, only a handful of these error coins exist. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, or more accurately, a diamond in a bucket of pennies. But hey, it's not impossible. Let me share a quick story. A couple of years ago, I got into coin collecting. It started innocently enough. I found a shiny penny on the sidewalk, Googled it, and fell down the rabbit hole. One day, I was sorting through an old jar of coins when I spotted an unusual penny. My heart skipped a beat. Could it be the legendary 1988 no-mint mark penny? I grabbed a magnifying glass, did a quick check, and turns out it was just a regular penny. But hey, the thrill of the hunt is half the fun, right? Here's a tip if you're eager to start hunting for treasure. Grab a magnifying glass and a good light source, and start examining every 1988 penny you come across. Look for the missing mint mark, and while you're at it, keep an eye out for other rare coins. Who knows? Your next grocery store run might just make you a millionaire. So there you have it, folks. The story of the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a tiny coin with a giant price tag. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone who loves a good underdog story, this penny proves that sometimes the smallest things can hold the biggest surprises. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins worth money, collecting strategies, and how to turn your pocket change into a fortune, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Trust me, you won't want to miss what we've got coming up. Who knows? The next rare coin we talk about could be sitting in your pocket right now. Thanks for watching and happy hunting, my fellow treasure seekers. Until next time, keep those eyes sharp and those pennies close. You're sorting through your loose change, maybe grabbing some quarters for the laundromat or feeding a vending machine. Then, boom, you come across a penny. But not just any penny. A penny that could be worth a staggering $1.8 million. Yeah, you heard that right. A single penny could change your life. Sounds crazy, right? Stick around because today we're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that's sending collectors into a frenzy. I'm going to break down why it's so valuable, how you can spot one, and what to do if you find this little copper jackpot. Spoiler alert. Don't spend it on a candy bar. Alright, first things first, what's the deal with this coin? The 1991 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is a true numismatic unicorn. For those who might be new to coin collecting, a mint mark is a tiny letter on a coin that tells you where it was made. Most pennies from 1991 were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, and they're marked with A, P, D, or S, respectively. But this one, nada, no letter. It's like the coin decided to go incognito. Now, let's talk about why it's worth so much. Coins without mint marks aren't automatically valuable, but this penny is an exception. Experts believe it's the result of a minting error, which means it wasn't supposed to exist in the first place. Minting errors are like the bloopers of the coin world. Only instead of being funny, they're worth a fortune. Collectors love these little mistakes because they're rare and tell a story. And when you add rarity and a good story together, cha-ching, you're probably wondering, okay, so how do I know if I have one? Great question. Let's get practical. First, grab any 1991 pennies you have lying around. Look just below Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front of the coin. If there's no mint mark, you might have something special. But, and this is a big but, don't get too excited just yet. The lack of a mint mark doesn't guarantee you've struck gold. You'll want to have it authenticated by a professional coin grading service to confirm it's the real deal. I actually got into coin collecting by accident. Years ago, I found an old jar of change in my grandparents' attic. One penny caught my eye because it was super shiny. Spoiler alert, it was worth about 25 cents, but hey, that's what started my obsession. Now, every time I go through my spare change, I think, what if today's the day I find the one? Okay, back to the $1,000,000 penny. If you're lucky enough to have one, the next step is deciding what to do with it. Most collectors choose to auction it off. And let me tell you, there's a bidding war out there for these bad boys. In fact, the record-breaking $1.8 million sale happened just last year at a major coin auction. That's enough to pay off a mortgage, buy a fancy car, or take a dream vacation. Or, buy 180 million gumballs if that's your thing. So, what's the takeaway here? Check your change. You never know when a tiny piece of history could be hiding in plain sight. And even if you don't find a $1.8 million penny, the hunt itself is half the fun. Plus, you'll start to see everyday coins in a whole new light. Who knew spare change could be so exciting? Before you head off to raid your coin jar, I've got a little homework for you. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more tips about coins worth money. I've got plenty of stories, strategies, and insider knowledge to share. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next big find. And hey, if you do stumble across a 1991 no mint mark penny, let me know in the comments. I might need to borrow $1 or 1.8 million. You're sitting at home, flipping through a jar of old change you found stashed in your attic, and suddenly, BM, you find a coin worth $1.9 million. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, hold on to your hats, because that's exactly what happened with the 1990 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yes, you heard me right. A penny worth almost $2 million. Now, I can already hear you asking, how in the world can a penny be worth so much? Well, folks, that's what we're diving into today. So, grab that change jar, and let's see if you've got a gold mine sitting right under your nose. Alright, first things first. You might be thinking, 1990? I've got a ton of those in my change jar. But here's the catch. The 1990 penny isn't the one you'll find sitting in your everyday pockets. What makes this penny so special is that it has no mint mark. Normally, pennies made in the United States have a little mint mark, like the D for Denver or the S for San Francisco. But this one, nada, zip, zilch. That missing mint mark is what makes it so rare and valuable. Now, you're probably wondering, but wait, how do I know if I've got one of these rare 1990 no mint mark pennies? It's actually pretty simple. If you're staring at a 1990 penny and it doesn't have that D or S on the reverse side, that's the side with Lincoln's memorial, then congratulations. You may have a treasure on your hands. But before you get too excited, let's talk about the rarity of this coin. You see, the reason this penny is worth so much is that the mint accidentally produced a very small number of 1990 pennies without any mint marks. These coins were supposed to be made at the Philadelphia Mint, which doesn't normally put mint marks on its pennies. But because of a weird fluke, some of the 1990 pennies went out without the usual markings. So, how much are we talking about here? A 1990 penny with no mint mark has been sold at auction for nearly $1.9 million. Yeah, I know, it's wild. It's like finding a winning lottery ticket in your pocket. But of course, the reality is a little bit more complicated. You won't just stumble upon a $1.9 million penny at your local grocery store. In fact, finding a 1990 no mint mark penny in mint condition with no wear and tear is super rare. A coin that's in top condition is what collectors and investors are after. The better the condition, the higher the value. And by top condition, I mean this penny needs to be shiny, crisp, and virtually flawless. We're talking about a penny that looks like it just rolled off the minting press yesterday. Now, I know you're probably thinking, okay, but how do I even know if my 1990 penny is worth something? Well, here's the deal. If you find one, first, check if it's got that no mint mark. Then, check its condition. Is it shiny and new looking? Or does it look like it's been through a hurricane, been in the laundry, and spent a decade under your couch cushions? If it's looking more like the latter, the value drops. But don't give up hope. Some well-worn examples still carry value. They just won't fetch the $1.9 million jackpot. If you've got that no mint mark 1990 penny, don't rush off to eBay just yet. You'll want to get it professionally graded by a trusted coin grading service, like PCGS or NGC. A proper grade can make a huge difference in the value. A well-graded coin can help you maximize your sale price if you ever decide to cash in on your find. Trust me, it's worth the investment. Now, let me tell you a little story to make this all hit home. A few years ago, I was going through some old boxes in my basement. My mom had kept every penny I'd ever come across in my childhood. I was certain there was nothing special in there, just a bunch of worn-out, old coins. But there was one coin that caught my eye, this weird-looking 1990 penny. At first, I almost tossed it aside, but then I remembered something I read once. A penny today could be worth a fortune tomorrow. So I decided to do a little research. Turns out, it was a normal 1990 penny. No mint mark, no fancy rare features, just an ordinary coin. Still, I felt a little like a treasure hunter. So, the moral of the story is, always keep an eye out for the unexpected. Sometimes that ordinary penny could turn out to be a golden ticket. Alright folks, now that you know about the 1990 no mint mark penny and why it could be worth up to $1.9 million, I'm going to leave you with a little piece of advice. Always check your change. You never know when you might come across a rare gem just sitting there, waiting to make you a small fortune. And hey, even if you don't find $1 million penny today, at least you'll have learned something new about the fascinating world of coin collecting. So, if you want to stay up to date on more coins worth money, tips, tricks, and strategies for building a valuable coin collection, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. You won't want to miss out on more awesome finds like this one. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever looked at your change and thought, what if one of these pennies is worth more than just a penny? Well, what if I told you that there's a certain 1981 penny out there, with no mint mark, that could be worth a staggering $2 million? Sounds like a wild fantasy, right? But trust me, this is one penny that could turn you from a coin collector to a millionaire. Stick around, because you won't want to miss the story behind the legendary 1981 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny and how you can spot one before it's too late. Alright, let's dive right into it. So, I'm sure most of you know that pennies usually have a mint mark. If you're not sure what that means, no worries, let me explain. Mint marks are those little letters you see on coins, usually next to the year, that indicate which U.S. mint facility made the coin. You'll see a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or of course, the classic P for Philadelphia. But in 1981, something strange happened. Some pennies came out with no mint mark at all. That's right, a blank spot where the mint mark should be. Now, you might think, okay, so what? It's just a mistake. But here's the thing. This mistake turned into one of the most valuable coins in American history. Now, let's rewind a bit. In 1981, the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies. Most of them were stamped with a mint mark, but for a small batch of them, they forgot to put the mint mark on the penny. This tiny error created a massive demand for these no mint mark coins. It's like when you accidentally find a rare Pokemon card in the attic that you thought was just a regular old trading card. Suddenly, everyone wants it. The rarity of these 1981 pennies is what makes them so valuable today. There's no exact number on how many were made, but estimates suggest that there were only about 3 to 4 of these coins in circulation, and possibly even fewer. So, if you've got one of these bad boys sitting in your coin jar, you're in some seriously good luck. Now, let's talk numbers. In 2018, one of these elusive 1981 no-mint mark pennies sold for a jaw-dropping $2 million. Yep, you heard me right, $2 million. That's not just pocket change. We're talking about the kind of money that could pay off your student loans, buy you a fancy car, and still have enough left over to invest in more rare coins. But hold on, before you go digging through every penny you've got, let's make sure we're on the same page here. Not every 1981 penny without a mint mark is worth $2 million. It's gotta be the real deal, authenticated, graded, and in top condition. That's right, you can't just find a rusty, worn-out penny with no mint mark and expect to retire tomorrow. You've got to get it looked at by a professional. But hey, it's worth a shot, right? These coins are valuable because they're so incredibly rare. And it's not just the 1981 no mint mark penny. The world of rare coins is full of hidden gems, but the trick is knowing what to look for. This is where the fun really starts. Coin collecting isn't just about spending hours staring at pennies in your pocket change. It's about knowing how to spot the real treasures. Let me tell you a quick personal story. I was at a coin show a few years back, just like any other weekend hobbyist, digging through piles of old coins, looking for a good deal. I wasn't expecting to find anything super rare, but then, out of nowhere, I spotted a 1955 double-die penny, one of the most famous error coins in the world. I couldn't believe it. The dealer was asking for a decent price, so I thought, what do I have to lose? Well, I ended up grabbing it, and within a few months, that penny was worth twice what I paid. It wasn't $2 million, but it sure felt like I had struck gold. And that's the thrill of coin collecting. You never know when you might stumble upon something worth a small fortune. Now, I want to make sure you don't miss out on these incredible finds. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone who wants to know if that penny in your pocket is worth more than you think, keep an eye out for those little errors and details. The key is to stay curious, stay informed, and keep learning. So, if you've learned anything from today's video, it's that there are hidden treasures out there, and sometimes they're smaller than you think. If you're lucky enough to find a 1981 no mint mark penny, you could be holding on to a small fortune. But even if you don't, the world of rare coins is filled with other hidden gems just waiting to be discovered. Who knows? Maybe your next lucky find is just around the corner. If you want to keep learning about coins worth money and how to spot the next big find, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and leave a comment telling me about your own coin collection adventures. Who knows? Maybe you've got a hidden treasure in your collection right now. Thanks for watching and happy coin hunting. May your pennies be rare and your finds be valuable. If you've ever dreamed of finding a penny in your couch cushions or on the sidewalk that could be worth a fortune, then today is your lucky day. I'm about to drop some knowledge that might just change your life, or at least make you a lot richer than you were 5 minutes ago. Have you ever heard of a 1987 Lincoln penny with no mint mark? Well, buckle up because this little coin is worth a jaw-dropping $2.1 million. Yup, you heard that right. $2.1 million. That's not a typo, folks. So today, we're diving deep into the world of rare coins, specifically the 1987 no mint mark penny. You know, most of us think of pennies as, well, pennies, small, insignificant, and just cluttering up our pockets. But what if I told you that one of these little guys could be your ticket to a life of luxury? All right, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I promise you, this story is about to get way more interesting. Stick with me, and by the end of this video, you'll be looking at your change jar in a whole new way. All right, let's start with the basics. You're probably asking, what the heck is a 1987 no mint mark penny, and why is it so special? Well, in 1987, the U.S. Mint was supposed to stamp their pennies with a mint mark, a little D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But somehow, some pennies slipped through the cracks. No mint mark, just a plain old penny from Philadelphia. These little rebels are the ones you want to keep your eye on. Now, let's talk about why this penny could be worth so much. A coin's value usually depends on factors like rarity, demand, and condition. The 1987 no mint mark penny is rare because they were an accidental mistake. Think about it. How often do mistakes like this happen in mass production? Pretty much never. That's what makes these pennies stand out. A lot of you might be wondering, But how do I know if I have one of these $2.1 million pennies? Good question. Honestly, it's a bit tricky, but I'll walk you through it. First, the key thing to look for is the lack of the mint mark. If you have a 1987 penny with no mint mark, you could be holding a potential gold mine. Now, I have to confess, I've definitely gotten excited about a coin before. One time, I was going through some old change I had stashed away and found a 1969 penny. I thought I had found a rare one. I Googled it like crazy, but it turns out it wasn't as valuable as I thought. At least I got a laugh out of the situation. But hey, we've all been there, right? The thrill of the hunt is half the fun. Always check your pennies. And I'm not just talking about 1,987 ones. There are plenty of other rare pennies that could be hiding in your pocket change too. That 1987 no mint mark penny. These things aren't just your run-of-the-mill penny. No, sir. If you find one, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Right now, they're fetching anywhere between $100,000 and $2.1 million, depending on their condition and how badly collectors want them. Some of these rare coins have gone for auction at absurd prices. One penny even sold for over $2 million in recent years. That's enough money to buy a brand new car, or maybe even a house. The value of these coins is skyrocketing, and it's all about their rarity. You see, only a handful of these no mint mark pennies were ever made, and most of them are in poor condition. If you find one that's in mint condition, you could be looking at something worth a whole lot more than just pocket change. It's actually pretty easy to spot. First off, look at the front of the penny. It should have no mint mark next to the year, 1987. If you see a D or S there, then it's not the rare version. But if it's blank, congrats. You might have just found a gold mine now. Don't go running off to eBay just yet. Before you sell, it's important to get your coin verified by a professional. There are plenty of coin grading services out there that can help you determine if your penny is the real deal. And trust me, you don't want to get ripped off by an unscrupulous buyer. Take the time to have it professionally evaluated so you know exactly what you've got. All right, folks, let's wrap this up. The 1987 no mint mark penny is a true diamond in the rough. If you're lucky enough to find one, you could be looking at a small fortune. But even if you don't have one lying around, don't give up hope. There are plenty of other rare coins out there just waiting for you to find them. Now, if you love learning about coins and all the ways you can strike it rich with your pocket change, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and strategies to help you on your quest for valuable coins. And who knows, you might just find that one penny that'll change everything for you. Thanks for watching, and remember, every penny counts, unless it's one of those rare ones. So, I gotta tell you, I've got a juicy little secret today, and trust me, it's gonna blow your mind. Did you know that one penny, yes, a single penny, could be worth $2.2 million? No, it's not some weird, collectible gold-plated thing. I'm talking about the 1973 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. And if you're thinking, a penny? Really? Just stick around because we're about to dive deep into how this small, seemingly ordinary coin can potentially make you a millionaire. Grab your magnifying glass, because you're going to want to look at every penny in your jar after this. All right, let's get into it. The 1973 no mint mark penny is one of those rare coins that, at first glance, doesn't seem like anything special. You've probably got a handful of these lying around in your couch cushions, right? You know, those pennies you find when you're digging for the remote, or when you're trying to pay for something and can't quite scrape together the full amount. But, drumroll, this penny, my friends, could be worth a small fortune. Now, let me explain the significance. Mint marks are usually located on coins to tell you where they were made. Most coins have a mint mark, whether it's the D for Denver or the S for San Francisco. But in 1973, there were some pennies that didn't have any mint mark. It's like an accidental treasure, a little piece of history that slipped through the cracks, and nobody really noticed until much later. So, why does this matter? Well, the 1973 no mint mark penny is rare. And in the world of coins, rarity equals value. The theory goes that a small batch of pennies were struck without a mint mark due to some kind of production error. If you've got one of these, you've got yourself a ticket to a coin collector's dream. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, cool, but how do I know if I've got one? If you pull out your old pennies and find a 1973 one without a mint mark, don't just toss it into your meh pile. First, give it a good look. Check for any signs of wear and tear, as those could affect its value. A coin in mint condition will fetch a higher price. But even a well-worn one can still be worth more than its face value. I had a funny experience with this. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my mom's house, and I found a jar of old pennies in the back of her kitchen drawer. I tossed it in the junk pile, you know? But then one day, I decided to look through them and bam, I found a 1973 penny with no mint mark. It wasn't in perfect condition, but I still felt that rush, like I just found a hidden gem. Of course, it wasn't $2.2 million, but it was still worth more than the penny I thought it was. Now, let's get to the fun part. The $2.2 million. That's what the most perfect 1973 no mint mark penny could sell for. I know, that's a huge stretch, but it has happened. One of these rare pennies, in mint condition, went up for auction, and some lucky collector dropped a cool $2.2 million on it. Who knew a penny could be so rich? Not every 1973 penny without a mint mark is gonna net you millions. In fact, most of them are worth somewhere in the range of $1,000 to $10,000 depending on condition and other factors. But hey, even $1,000 for a penny you found in your old wallet is not too shabby, right? That's enough to buy you a nice dinner. Or, more realistically, a nice dinner and a couple of rounds of drinks, depending on where you're eating. That penny you thought was just some loose change could actually be worth a whole lot more than you think. And who knows, maybe you'll be the next person to cash in on a rare find like the 1973 no mint mark penny. But don't just take my word for it. Go through your old pennies, check for the year, look for any signs of wear, and maybe, even if you don't have a mint condition $2.2 million penny, you've got something worth way more than face value. If you want more tips on which coins to keep an eye out for, how to spot valuable pennies, and just general coin collecting strategies, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm always digging up some cool, lesser-known coins that could be sitting in your pocket right now. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Until next time, keep collecting and keep searching for treasure in your change jar. Who knows what you'll find next? You might just have the next big coin jackpot on your hands. You're rummaging through your spare change jar, looking for a nickel to buy a snack, when you pull out a 1988 penny. It looks like, well, a penny, nothing special, right? But hold on. What if I told you that specific penny could be worth a jaw-dropping $2.3 million? Yes, you heard that correctly, $2.3 million. You might be thinking, no way, that's gotta be some kind of hoax. But trust me, it's the real deal. Today, we're diving into the world of the 1988 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that went from just another copper piece to becoming a sought-after treasure that could turn you into an overnight millionaire. So sit tight, grab your magnifying glass. You'll want to examine your pennies after this. And let's break down why this coin is worth so much. First things first, we need to talk about what makes the 1988 penny special. You see, most pennies have a mint mark on them, a little D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or sometimes no mint mark at all, which means it was made in Philadelphia. But in 1988, something unusual happened. A batch of pennies was struck without the usual mint mark. And guess what? That tiny detail, having no mint mark, makes all the difference. Those missing mint marks weren't intentional. They were actually a mistake, which is exactly why collectors are going wild for them. But how did this mistake happen? It turns out the minting process at the time was a little, well, off. A few coins slipped through the cracks. No mint mark, no identification, just pure mystery. But when collectors noticed these oddball pennies, they started to wonder, could these be worth something? Fast forward to today, and they're fetching millions. You might be thinking, I've got some old pennies in my jar. Could I have one of these 1988 no mint mark treasures? Here's the thing, not every 1988 penny is going to be worth $2.3 million. That's the highest reported value, but it's more likely you'll find one that could be worth anywhere from a few bucks to a few thousand. Still pretty good, right? To spot a 1988 penny with no mint mark, look at the reverse side. If you don't see the D or S under the year, then you've got yourself a potential gem. But, and this is crucial, don't get too excited just yet. Condition matters. Coins that are in great shape, with sharp details and minimal wear, are worth a lot more. If your penny looks like it's been through a war and back, well, it might not make you a millionaire, but it's still a neat find. Now, let me tell you a little story. I once found a coin in my change that looked a bit strange, and I thought, hey, maybe this is the one. It wasn't a 1988 no mint mark penny, but I sure felt like a coin detective as I flipped it over and checked for mint marks. After a few minutes of inspecting it, I realized it was just a regular penny. But that moment stuck with me. I got a taste of what it feels like to find something valuable. And trust me, once you find that one special coin, you'll get hooked. So what's the bottom line? While most of us won't be finding a $2.3 million penny, the fact that coins like the 1988 no mint mark penny exist shows just how unpredictable and exciting coin collecting can be. Every penny is a potential treasure, and even if you don't strike it rich, there's still value in the thrill of the hunt. And there you have it, the 1988 no mint mark penny. It's a fascinating piece of numismatic history that can literally make you millions. If you're a coin enthusiast or just curious about whether you might have a hidden gem lying around, keep your eyes peeled and your magnifying glass handy. Who knows? That spare change jar might just be hiding a fortune. Now, if you want more tips on rare coins, valuable finds, and collecting strategies that could help you build your own fortune, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Join me on this coin hunting journey, because who knows? Your next $1 million penny might be waiting for you in the next roll. Thanks for watching, and remember, whether you're looking for a penny or a rare find, it's always worth taking a closer look. Well, hold on to your change purse, because this is one of the craziest coin stories you'll ever hear. You might want to check your pockets or that jar of pennies on your desk, because you could be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. Today, we're diving into the mystery of the 2016 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that's currently valued at a jaw-dropping $2.4 million. Yes, you heard that right. You could have a coin worth more than a shiny new car, just sitting around, maybe tucked in the back of your couch cushions. So, let's dig into what makes this coin so special, why it's worth a fortune, and how you can spot one, if you're lucky, of course. All right, let's start at the beginning. The 2016 penny was issued as part of the usual batch of coins released by the U.S. Mint. The big question, though, is why is this one special? Well, folks, most coins that are minted come with a mint mark, just a little letter that tells you where they were made. Normally, you'll see a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco on coins produced in those places. But in 2016, a very small number of pennies were released with no mint mark at all. No D, no S, just the blank spot. Now, you're probably wondering, is that it? A blank spot makes it worth millions? And the answer is, sort of. It's not just about the lack of a mint mark. See, this wasn't some planned design. It was actually a mistake during production, and only a handful of these blank-marked pennies made it into circulation. When a mistake like this happens, the value of the coin can skyrocket because of its rarity. Think of it like this. It's the oops moment that everyone wants to get their hands on. Imagine going to the bakery for a chocolate chip cookie and getting a chocolate chipless cookie instead. At first, you're like, what is this nonsense? But then, you realize you're the only one who got the unique cookie, and now it's worth $100. Well, that's pretty much what happened with this penny. But here's where it gets wild. One of these 2016 no mint mark pennies sold for $2.4 million. Yes, million. I know what you're thinking. How do I get one of those? Well, here's where I tell you it's not as easy as just finding one in your spare change. You've got to have the eagle eye for these things and know exactly what you're looking for. Look for the absence of the mint mark. If there's no D or S on the back, you might have found yourself a rarity. Check the condition. Most pennies in circulation are worn out and not worth much more than 1 cent. But a coin in great condition, ideally uncirculated, is going to be worth a lot more. Think of it like a vintage toy. If it's still in the original packaging and looks brand new, it's worth a lot more than the same toy with the box all ripped up. The rarity factor. This mistake wasn't widespread. We're talking about just a small number of pennies slipping through the cracks. So, finding one in great condition is going to be your ticket to the big bucks. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was going through some old change I found in a box in my garage. It had been sitting there forever. Just a pile of pennies, nickels, and dimes. Nothing special, right? Well, I decided to go through them just for fun. And guess what I found? A 1999 penny with a little extra something. It was a double strike error. I had no idea it was worth anything at first, but after doing a little research, I learned it could be worth a few $100. Now, I didn't make millions off of it, but that little mistake made me realize how valuable a simple penny could be. So, if you ever wondered what's hiding in those spare change jars, now you know. It could be gold. So, there you have it, folks. The 2016 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny could be sitting in your pocket right now, and it could be worth $2.4 million. Okay, maybe not right now, but you get the point. This is the kind of thing that can turn a regular old coin collection into something truly exciting. If you're interested in learning more about coins, tips on finding rare ones, and strategies for building a collection that could make you rich, or at least help you pay for a nice dinner, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of info coming your way on coins, currency, and collectibles. Thanks for watching, and remember, check those pennies. You never know when you might stumble upon your own hidden treasure.